Hello, it's your boy, Dax Wolf. Okay, so I'm doing this unscripted, and I'm just going to see if I can do this in one shot, because there's something that happened with the Bastion tank update that I don't feel like trying to make a full scripted video for, because it's just gonna take too long. So I'm just going to ramble at y'all and have gameplay in the background, if that's alright. Not sure if this is going to be a recurring thing or not. So back when the Bastion tank got added to the game, like during that update, they changed how the car works in multiple different ways, but the main way we're concerned about is Gear 1. Gear 1 got absolutely gutted, dude. Oh my gosh. The way it used to work, I explained in part 1 of my guide, is that you would accelerate to a certain speed at a fairly fast pace, then your acceleration after that would it would slow to a crawl. But it would still gradually be gaining speed. Now how it works is once you hit 30 kmh, you are stuck there. You do not go any higher. And that makes it so that there's some consequences for certain things, like, I don't know, ice driving, which was one of my favorite things to do. Now you're just a sitting duck while doing it, because you don't gain speed. You just hit 30 and then don't move anywhere. And then, well, going up hills is also gutted, because if you're anything above 30 kmh, you just rapidly start losing speed, and half the time your engine stalls and you just lose all of your momentum. And even if you're below 30 kmh, switching to it, again, the engine will stall and you just won't make it up hills. It's terrible. I don't know why they made this change. I was 90% sure that it was an accident that had to do with, like, them adding in the tank. I think when they added in the tank, they changed how the gears worked for that, and it accidentally affected the FRV. And since the FRV has such a low pick rate, no one noticed. And it didn't get addressed in the most recent patch, which was, yesterday, actually. This was recorded on Wednesday, before this goes up. So, yeah, naturally that put a damper on my motivation to work on part 4, which is the next topic. So part 4 with the guide. Obviously, when I first wrote the script, all the enemies were different. Now they've been all buffed in some sort of way against a car. Mainly having to do with flinch resistance, meaning you'll run over, say, a hive guard, and instead of flinching backwards or even getting flinch out of attacks, they just tank it and then start swinging. Same thing with stuff like stalkers. So unless you one-shot them, they will get a guaranteed swing on you, which is really dumb. And even things like hunters are harder to run over now. So, obviously, constant changes like that require me to redo the script, and I'm not gonna lie, I hate writing the script. Because, as you can hear now, my stream of consciousness is just, it's all over the place. Honestly, the only reason I'm able to keep on topic is because I have a notepad open with topics that I wanted to talk about, and I'm just keeping to the topic. Anyways, despite that, they didn't change much in the most recent update, which was yesterday. So, the edited script that I was able to do is good to go. I just need to record it now. And, I guess that leads into to the next topic, shadow changes. They love the shadow change to enemies, dude. Oh my gosh. Like, specifically against the car, they will make sweeping changes just to make it so that it's harder on people in the car. And it's not stuff that's, like, makes it impossible to use the car. No, It's stuff that makes it so that people who are new, who are not veterans with it, will struggle so hard they'll just give up. People who are veterans with it, we usually can just keep driving regardless. The skill ceiling is so high that you can just outdrive them. But then they do changes that, well, again, it affects people who are getting into the car, makes it harder for me to teach people the car. But also it makes it so that it's harder to counterattack enemies in the car. Like harvesters. Key example. I loved counterattacking harvesters because you had to have like a primary weapon, like say the trident, or I would use the redeemer for a while. You have to get behind the harvesters so that they can't shoot at you. Pop their shield, then switch to, say, your, like, Quasar, which is what I always use. The Quasar, and then shoot a leg. And if you miss the leg but hit the main body, then it's susceptible to getting loyalisted twice in the body. You know. So, you could counterattack them from the car. But over the course of several updates, they gradually buffed their harvesters tracking. Now harvesters can shoot at you from over 200 meters and get aggroed from over 100. They will try like insta laser, you know, it's just a bunch of stuff. And in the most the Bastion update, they made it so that it was really, really hard to counterattack unless you're open to getting hit. Before you could cross them up, and they turned slowly enough that you could get an attack off, and if it failed, hey, you can still keep driving and still keep trying to counterattack. And bear in mind, this is just one harvester. This is not thinking of situations which was like 10. In the update, they made it so that, one, the lasers will track you even as you're passing them. One time I had, crossed one up directly, and he was shooting straight down at me. Two, they made it so that even if you get behind the harvesters, they now turn faster. So, you have even less of a window, to the point that if you're trying to shoot the harvester and you don't get the kill, it will laser you. Guaranteed. It is... Again, things like that put a damper on motivation for this stuff. Because it feels like you're being targeted. You know. Anyways, I guess that also leads into, since I mentioned the Quasar and the Trident and stuff, so I'm sure some of you noticed in my guide and the other montages, I always had the shield backpack and the Quasar. Why is that? Well, to be frank, they're just the best options for the car, man. I'm obviously gonna go over this in the loadout section, but just again, stream of consciousness. Basically, with the weapon, you want something that does not need to be reloaded, does all of its damage quickly, and well, yeah, that's really it. And the only option that does that is the Quasar, because recoilless you need to reload. With expendable anti-tank, you have to call it back in, and yet it means you have to input the code, drop it, get out of the car, which you can't really do in a fight. Same thing with the commando, etc. Things like the grenade launcher have a detriment, because if it bounces off the enemy, you'll blow up your own car. And that happens more often than you'd think, even if you know your way around the grenade launcher. So, you know. The Quasar, all roads leads back to the Quasar. It's been a frustrating thing. You could literally ask the people I'm on voice call with constantly. I'm just like, dude, why is it always the Quasar? I hate it. I don't want to use the Quasar. Why? You know. And for the shield pack, it's really simple. It's always active. The shield pack protects you inside the car and outside of the car, meaning it's always getting maximum value. Also, with all of the shadow changes, buffing enemies' accuracy and durable damage to the car, which, okay, sidebar, going back to the changes, it's not a shadow change, but the durability thing, that was not meant for the tank. If they wanted that for the tank, they could have just reduced the tank's HP and left it alone. No, that was specifically for the mech and the car. The mech was already paper mache. The car could manage if you know how to use it. But those durability changes were meant just to screw over cars. And that's like, dude, what are you doing? It has less than a 5% pick rate. What is this? Why are you targeting the car so bad? Anyways, going back to the loadout, the supply pack you can't use in the car. The any of the guard dogs you have to be in the car. You can't use it in the car. Literally everything is just you can't use in the car. The shield pack always active, meaning you have a 300 HP barrier that protects parts of your car, and you, whether you're inside the car or out. So it makes it so that it's a thing that buffs the car, and even if you're on foot, you get extra protection, so it buffs you. So it's just the best option. And again, it's kind of frustrating because it feels hard to experiment when there is a definitive best option. You know? Similar to, like, the Loyalist. the Loyalist is low-key slept on. And I'm not saying this in a really copy way. I'm saying it in, like, a very literal. It's as good as mini primaries, and that was before the firing rate buff. I mean, the charge rate buff they gave it in the last patch. Basically, you know the Plasma Punisher, how that became meta? The Loyalist is basically just a side grade to the Plasma Punisher. It takes slightly too longer to fire because you have to charge it up, but you can do a tap fire that also staggers some enemies. And, you gain more range and accuracy. But the cost is you'd lose the proximity detonation. But you get extra damage because there's direct damage on the projectile, on top of having the same exact damage as the Plasma Punisher's splash. Also, the splash radius for the Loyalist has the same damage throughout other than the last 0.1 meter. Whereas the Plasma Punisher actually only has, has like 0.7 meters of fall off. So you're always getting the same amount of damage whenever you shoot into a crowd. The Loyalist is so good. And again, it's frustrating because I'm just like, what secondary do I want to use on, like, Loyalist? I don't want to always use the Loyalist, but whenever I use something else, I'm just like, man, I wish I had my Loyalist. Oh my gosh. But, yeah. Some might, I guess, still on the loadout, you might think, what about, yeah, this is what I talk like, I'm sorry. The 500 kg, there it is. It's can be used to deal with big enemies, but also, like, but most importantly, it destroys bases quickly. Which is very important for the car because you want to get in, do your damage, and get out, right? So, and its input code is really simple. So you can just go up high speeds, buy a base, switch, input it quickly, throw, and then you're out of there. If it doesn't destroy the base, you can just always do a second drive-by with your second 500 kg. And if you have enemies, you can just throw it into the crowd, and as long as you do it correctly, you'll get a bunch of kills. Right? So it's a versatile option, whereas some other things, it's like the Eagle strafing run, it's good, but it doesn't deal with heavy enemies as well, and also it hits in a straight line rather than a big circle. Orbital barrages, longer cooldown. It's not consistent. Like, if you land a 500 kg on a base, that base is getting destroyed if you land it in the correct spot. It's a guarantee. But with the barrages, it's not. So, again, one of the goals with the loadout is to make it consistent. and also just as strong in the car, I mean, out of the car as in the car. Like, you need to be able to function in both situations, because sometimes the game will just screw you over. One time, literally earlier today, I was in a Squid Megacity. I threw the car call in the middle of a street. It was perfectly open. For some reason, a Pelican pilot drifts towards a building, then drops it off on top of the building, and the car just phases through the building and just blows up on impact. And it's just like, okay, I did nothing wrong, I did everything right, and then I got punished. So I'm on foot now. And I was still able to do my job, didn't die, you know. You need to have a loadout that can work in both situations. If you're planning a loadout that is only in the car, you better make sure that car always survives. And I'm an expert, and I can't even guarantee that. So, yeah. We're running close to when the VOD is about to end, so I guess the last topic is there's a conspiracy theory that I have been talking about for, like, almost a full year at this point. Oh my gosh. There seems to be a hidden scaling system with this game. And what I mean by it is, like, I think there's a hidden difficulty scaling system, right? Where weird things start happening if you start getting on the wrong end of this scaling system. Like, you know how call-ins are supposed to... They call stuff in, and the timer for the next call-in doesn't start until the thing from the top of your screen disappears. Several times I have had it where they call in on me, and less than 45 seconds later, while the previous call-in is still active, they call in again. Or they'll have a call-in, it calls in enemies, and then 30 seconds after the call-in ended, it sends in a second wave. And then one time I got a third wave. And it's just like, what the heck? That's not supposed to happen. You know, the enemy density will be greater. It'll spawn it'll be sending enemies at you from every angle. Like, I don't think this gameplay did it justice, but there was a different VOD that I'm going to link at the end of this video, where it's a 40-something minute mission. My friend joined me slightly late, and it took us 9 minutes to do the SAM site because the game refused to stop. It was absolutely wild, and it's on the Squids. This is pre the mindless masses thing. This was just regular Squids. And the game went absolutely ballistic, man. And that's every mission for me and my friend. And you might be wondering, what is this difficulty scaling system based on? I don't think it's based on... Like, at first I thought it was based on mission completion rate. But that is not true. Because me and my friend have a 98.9% mission completion rate, and a friend of ours has a 99-point-something%. So he has a higher thing. He doesn't have this happen to him when he's with other people, right? It's just me and him. The thing that separates me and my friend is that my friend has a KD ratio of 321. And I have a KD ratio of 203. Most players have KD ratios hovering around, like, 50 to 70. And my friend who has the higher KD rate, the higher win rate, has a KD ratio of around 70. And he has reported it's only when he's with us. So I think how this thing works is it adds everybody in the lobby's KD ratio together, and then divides by the number of people in the lobby. So that makes it so that if you have someone who has a really high KD ratio and a bunch of other people who are lower, they will get the people who are lower will get a harder mission than they're normally used to, but the people who are suffering, like me, they get an easier mission, right? And another effect of this is if me and my friend duo and we join someone else, we still get a really hard mission, and the other people will usually be like, dude, what the heck? You know. But, yeah, dude, it's been 20 minutes. How long is the VOD? Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. Have a good one, guys. Sorry to cut it off abruptly.